before the local elections, if anybody said that the Labour Party would lose control of Durham County Council, then frankly very few people would have believed them. But on Thursday the 1st of May, that prediction actually came very close to being true. The Labour Party had an enormous slump in the number of seats that they had on the new, rather controversial Durham County Council, and one of the big beneficiaries of that was the Liberal Democrats, who went from 5 seats to a rather whopping 27. Now, I'm joined by Carol Woods, who's the prospective parliamentary candidate for Durham City for the Liberal Democrats, but also one of the victors from Thursday evening. So, Carol, first of all, how did you do it from 5 to 27 seats?
Well, I think what happened was that the Liberal Democrats actually built on what they've done in Durham. I mean, we went from 5 to 15 in Durham City. I think a lot of that was on the back of the way that the Liberal Democrats had run the City Council and the amount that we'd done on the ground. And certainly people said to me, you can see the difference the Liberal Democrats had made after years of Labour complacency. And I think in other parts of the county, the Liberal Democrats had worked hard too, and we, for the first time, won seats in other places, in Spennymoor and in Shildon, and in parts of Derwent-side. So we added another 12 in other bits of the county. So I think, and that's based on their hard work, I think, as well.
Right, okay. The Labour Party has not lost control of Durham County Council. It's just retained it this time, but it is a council that they've controlled for something like 50 or 60 years. Forever.
Actually, since it was formed, they've controlled it forever.
Right. So why is it they came so close to actually losing control of something that they've held for generations?
Well, on the doorstep, people said several things to us, and one of them was that people didn't want a giant unitary council, and there was a referendum in which 129,000 people, which is 76% of the people who voted, actually said, we don't want this council, and Labour didn't listen. I think, secondly, the abolition of the 10% tax band made an enormous amount of difference in a county where many people would have been on an income of under 18,500, and therefore it would have had an effect. And I don't know if people realise, but actually within people's pay packets this month, which was probably just before the election, that was when they would notice the difference. And thirdly, people were saying that they didn't have confidence in Gordon Brown, they didn't think he was a leader.
Right, okay. Now the Conservatives went from, I think it was 2 to 10 seats on the county, so not the spectacular gains that they were making elsewhere in the country. So why is it that the Cameron effect doesn't seem to be happening in County Durham?
I think it doesn't work here because the Tories haven't got any grassroots. I mean, in Durham City there are very few Tories. I mean, it might it almost looks as if there's only one Tory in the town that actually does anything. So they don't have any grassroots party to actually get together and actually do any work. In the city here, I mean, it's now, I think, 26 years since a Tory was elected. Most of the Tories that got elected were in Teesdale and in other places where they've obviously got a bit more of an organisation, but in much of County Durham it's just a Tory-free zone.
Right, okay. You mentioned Durham City, and you are the prospective parliamentary candidate for Durham City. So am I talking to the next MP for Durham City?
Well, I would hate to be too presumptive, but I think we certainly hope so. The Liberal Democrats here have a great hope that we will manage to do it next time. I think on the results from this election, then, we got 47% of the vote on Thursday night, and the Labour Party got 37%. Now, obviously, there are changes when it comes to a national election, but we would hope to build on that. We think it's very, very close here, and we hope that we'll make it.
Right, okay. Well, we're here in the historic heart of Durham City. It's been a historic set of results from the local elections last week, and I think, as Carol says, it's roll on at the general election.